Hey, it's Friday, you bastards. Everybody who's seen me on Facebook and the Twitter knows that on Friday morning, usually in the 8 o'clock hour somewhere, I post "It's Friday, you bastards" on both feeds, and I've always been pretty upfront about where it came from, what it's about, but I have a feeling some people don't know, or I may not have explained it all the way. Basically, when Randy Rhoads was off the air, when her Nova M gig ended in February 2009, there was no Randy Rhoads on the radio. I was very sad. And so I started saying "It's Friday, you bastards" on Twitter. Not the Twitter, on Facebook, excuse me. After, she was off there, kind of as a tribute, kind of to, keep the lights going, keep that whole concept going. And then when Randy came back on the air, I kept doing it because it was fun. Everybody enjoys it. So I'd like to kind of show you what the whole thing is about. And so, with apologies to Randy Rhoads, let me just say, it's Friday, you bastards!
Girls, it's great to live in a democracy today. Where freedom is everywhere.
Everywhere.
But girls, we often take this freedom for granted. Freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and freedom of action. But girls,
what?
Just because a bunch of men signed that Declaration of Independence in 1776 doesn't mean that freedom was for men alone.
No?
Oh no, you take Tom Jefferson, Ben Franklin, John Hancock.
Fine.
There's a hell of a guy for you right there. All these men had wives. They probably had a few broads on the side too.
The right side.
These women wanted freedom just as much as their men did. But gals, I wonder, do we? I think it's time that we women thought about it a bit. Hell, I think it's time we did something about it.
Hell.
So come on, fellow females of the 20th century.
21st.
Be glad that you're an American.
I am.
Proclaim your freedom.
Freedom.
And attention. Pledge
Allegiance.
And bounce your boobies, get into the swing. Bounce your boobies, the swing is everything. Makes no difference if they're big or small.
Does too.
As long as you give him your all. Bounce your boobies. Come on, honey, bounce them up and down.
I'm doing it.
Bounce your boobies. Come on, bounce your boobies, honey. Come on, loosen the private fine shoes. Take it off if you feel like it.
Look out below.
Bounce your boobies. Here we go. Doesn't that feel good?
No.
Bounce your boobies. Girls,
what?
Men aren't the only people in the world today who have something to give.
Are you sure?
But it sure looks like it sometimes. Just look around you. Men stick out all over the place. Big fat cigars.
Yeah.
Big fat stomachs.
Yeah.
And just where they should stick out,
I'm your daddy.
We're missing.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, girls, we know what we've got and we know what they're worth.
Priceless, Johan.
So come on, gals. Let's get into the swing of things. Give your
boobies some freedom. All together now. Bounce your boobies. Let them rock and roll. Nudge your knockers.
Keep them hot and so.
I don't know.
Just admit it, gals. It sure feels great.
Ba-dum.
To feel them swinging. Ooh, titillate.
Ew.
Bounce your boobies. Come on, bounce them up and down. Bounce your boobies. There, look at that gal. She's going there. Bounce your boobies. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Bounce.
Ow.
Bounce.
Ow.
Bounce.
Ow.
Bounce.
Bounce your boobies now. Yes, it's Friday, you bastards, and that's where it comes from. It's a tribute to, Randy Rhoads and her Bounce Your Boobies, It's Friday, you bastards intro. She usually says 12 segments to beer after that, but, I don't own any beer. So, there you go. Otherwise, I found out the most interesting news today. I am excited because Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert are coming to Washington. I mean, after all, we know, Glenn, I've just wasted your time came to D.C. back in August. And we saw all the to-do about that, especially when it really had not much to do with politics and was very much a religious event. Whereas this one is going to be, this is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert, you know, are very much satirists. And so it's going to be fun because, I mean, you know, they, you know, discuss politics as part of their, you know, it's their jobs, their career. And they do it really funny. So this ought to be really fun. I mean, I think this is probably the first time in Washington we've had a political event where it's honestly satire. Or where it's obviously satire, excuse me. I mean, they're making fun of Glenn, I think I've just wasted your time, Beck. So, pretty cool if you ask me. I'm going to go, and I've already been told by some people that I'd better go, so I'm going. And so, that's pretty cool. And we'll see what people come up with. I mean, what I'm really looking forward to be quite honest, is the signs. I mean, first of all, I'd like to see if there's some real teabaggers that actually show up and try to protest it, because we're making fun of them. And of course, it's not that hard if you've read my website to make fun of these people. And so, I mean, you know, this is going to be a lot of fun. That's all I have to say. I mean, it's going to be, I mean, all it is just a metro ride away. Just hop on the train at Glenmont and ride down to the mall. Probably getting off at Federal Triangle or something like that. And, I mean, you know, what is there to say? It's going to be loads and loads of fun. I'm, of course, going to cover it for Schumin Web, and you'll get to see it. And I'm just excited. I mean, this is going to be cool. I mean, I've been to a lot of demonstrations in D.C. You know, I've been to the Answer March right after the fall of Baghdad in 2003. I've been to, I went to the Million Worker March. I went to Chucklenuts' second inauguration. I went to September 24th, 05, you know, the second A16 in 05, September 24th, 05, you know, that night march where, you know, the anti-World Bank march where the Black Bloc people marched all around D.C. to the various hotels. That was fun, by the way, and that was just a really fun, although it was raining really hard. And so, but I mean, basically what my point is, all of the protest marches I've been to have been, you know, about serious business politics. Now, this one, I love it. This one is, we're going to be making fun of, you know, the Tea Party. And, yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, hopefully this one will have just as much, you know, will be just as fun as some of the Anon raids I've been to. By the way, we're raiding tomorrow, September 18th, outside the founding org, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, hopefully it'll be as much fun as those are, because I mean it's pretty fun. I mean, you have somebody somebody running it who pretty much openly makes fun of his honorary doctorate, because the Doctor of Fine Arts, in case anybody's wondering, is an honorary degree. You cannot earn a Doctor of Fine Arts degree, I don't believe. And Stephen Colbert will say Dr. Stephen Colbert, DFA, which is this honorary degree that he got. And I mean, it works for his personality, I guess. And so, you know, you know, the whole thing really ought to be fun. And plus, it's my father's birthday, and so we'll be doing something I think, you know, Dad would enjoy. And I'll have to send him the pictures. In fact, he might want to come, because you know what? It's, you know, this is just going to be really, really funny. And so, you know, it could be interesting, you know. Bring the whole family. I mean, this is going to be, you know, straight up satire, you know, of the Tea Party movement. And, I mean, you know, this is not going to be some of the stuff that we've seen. I mean, I think all the various, you know, hijinks you see are going to be meant in fun. And it's just going to be a fun event. You know, it's like, I don't think I've looked this much forward to a protest in a while. Just because, I mean, you're in D.C., you see demonstrations all the time. This is going to be something interesting. So, that ought to be really fun. And then, of course, before that, though, there are going to be, like I said, 2 Anon raids. There's going to be an anti-war march on October 2nd. And I really ought to know more about what's going on with that, but I haven't done all my homework yet. I'm going to. And if all goes well, I'll cover it for Schumin Web. And then, of course, lots of other things in between. So that ought to be really cool. And so yeah, that ought to be really interesting. And then of course Mom's coming up on the weekend, not this weekend, the weekend after that, which means that this cave where I live is going to, look like I don't live there. Because after all, when your mother's coming over, you really want to go the whole 9 yards. Because my mother, you see, she won't complain if the place isn't totally clean. She'll clean, and I really don't want Mom to do that. My mother, how do I want to say it? My mother, I want my mother to just relax and have a good time. I mean, when she does clean it, I know, she's just being Mom and can't help herself, but I don't want her to do that. I remember there was one time I cleaned the whole house for when Mom and Dad came, and they were only here for a couple hours because they were on their way to somewhere else, or no, they were on their way back for whatever. They were here, and they weren't here very long. I cleaned everything. The place looked so nice, and I forgot to dust the front of the television set, and Mom dusted it. It was like, oh no, I thought I did that, and I didn't, and so it's just like, oh great. And of course there was the time Mom accidentally swept my bathroom and my kitchen. It's like, I thought I did that. I swept. She swept again and accidentally. It's like, Mom. But, that's, mothers, they mean well, but, and you gotta love them, but yeah, they do that. And we don't want mothers. I don't want my mother to do that, but, So I'm just going to make sure that this place is as totally tip-top clean as I can make it, which is going to be my focus of next week. Because that's just the way I try to put on a certain appearance. I've told Mom, she says, oh, your house is so neat. And it's like, no, it really isn't, but I like it that you live in that fantasy world, and I'm going to do everything I can to maintain that. So, I don't know. It should be interesting, and this place will smell like all kinds of fun, smell like clean when it's finished, because I will have, expended far more cleaning stuff on it than I probably should. But, it's Mom, she's very much worth it and deserves it, and so that's what we're going to do. Anyway, though, I think that's about everything I wanted to discuss with you all today. I hope you enjoyed kind of seeing where the whole It's Friday, You Bastards thing came from, what it's about. I've kind of always wanted to do, since I got the webcam, do the whole, the whole song on there. And the idea of using the blue-footed boobies on here to bounce, bounce your boobies, that was my idea, because, there's nothing to bounce down there, so, I found some blue-footed boobies on Wikipedia, and so we bounced them, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, I thought it was cute. And of course, I'm Your Daddy, that was James Carville. And so, there you go. Anyway, I hope you all have a good weekend, and I will see you next time. Ta-ta!